Hi, I'm Louisa Willcox. Welcome to my podcast, ADHD and Money. I'm a money mentor for ADHD entrepreneurs with over 15 years' experience in the financial world. Having ADHD myself, I know how hard it can be to not only navigate this crazy entrepreneurial world, but also the challenges ADHD entrepreneurs have with managing money too. I know. You're probably thinking I'm terrible with money. I spend far too much. I'm just feeling out of control. I get told these things all the time. I promise you, you're not alone. But it doesn't need to be this way. This is my area of expertise. I've already helped countless ADHD entrepreneurs take control of their money, and I'm going to be spilling the secrets on how you too can do this. So let's get started, shall we? Hi everyone and welcome back. I have the lovely Ina here and she is the BEO of Believe VA Business Support?
Believer.
What's that? Believer. Oh, I love that. Sorry, I love that. A vibrant agency for neurodivergent business owners. So welcome. Thank you for being here. And can you tell us about yourself, please?
Yes. Hi. Thank you for having me. It's lovely to see you again after we just met like a few months ago. Anyway, so yeah, I'm Ina. As you already said, I run Believer Business Support, and we support mainly neurodivergent business owners with all things admin. So we do virtual assistants for them, also business support, body doubling, all the fun things that we do. Do also a little bit of bookkeeping occasionally for some of my clients. And I also run a community that connects the business owners with each other. So that's fun because you probably know yourself, when you start out a business, you are wearing all the hats.
Oh, yes.
From cleaner to tea maker to, money maker, all of the things, even though I have to say my husband is a really good tea maker. But there comes a point in your business where you need others to help you push your business forward, not just VAs, but also you might need a bookkeeper, you might need a financial advisor, you might need an accountant, a website builder, a SEO person, a coach, all of these things. And when you're neurodivergent, it can be really tough finding the right people, and even reaching out to a variety of people can be sometimes really difficult, depending
Really
on
overwhelming. And it's also taking that step because I'm in this transition myself. So with my bookkeeping business, I actually, when my eldest son went for a double hip reconstruction last year, I actually shut some of the business down whilst he went through the recovery. So obviously I kind of closed a lot of it down. I still had some clients and still was running it. But it's only just now that I'm kind of building it back up again. And you're talking a year and a half later. But when you start to bring people back in and you start to build it up, it's really hard when, like, my brain is quite hectic and I'm kind of like on the 10th sentence before I finish the first one, and it could be really frustrating. And when I want something done, I'm sort of like, it's like when I say, I want it done, it's like now. And it's really hard as a business owner to sort of go, no, that's not how it works. And I know that, and it's like, it's not how it works. But to find people who understand that and get it and don't take offense from it, and you're like, no, I know I need to take that step back, it can be really difficult. So finding the right people there, like who can support you and who do get your brain, it makes a huge amount of difference, especially when it's a VA. Because with VAs, they support your business so heavily as well with loads of different things. Like my VA does a lot of my scheduling, literally helps me keep on track, tells me when I'm going off the radar, when I'm procrastinating, because 1 minute I'll be sending an email and I'm ripping a hedge out of the garden kind of thing. It's like, have you sent that email? No, I've only done the first sentence, get back to it an hour later. So it's really important to find those who actually get it, isn't it? Finding the right people.
And especially you were touching on the bookkeeping side of things. And as money, as we already said, is a sticky subject. And if you have an accountant that usually deals with neurotypical brains, they send you an email, can you pay this? Usually you go out and pay this. As neurodivergent business owners, we are not going to pay this. We're not even going to read the email for weeks until it's probably too late. And then maybe pay it, or maybe just avoid that subject altogether. So again, you need an accountant that is aware of this, that sends you probably 17 reminders before you have paid it.
Yeah.
Also your VA to remind you, have you paid it, or pays it for you, even better, if that's at all possible. So there's so many things that come into play here for neurodivergent business owners, because demand avoidance, does happen, especially when it's
So
around
much.
finances.
Yeah. I mean, with my coaching business, my money coaching, I see the avoidance so much.
Mhm.
But also then it's the other side of it of not being able to pay a bill,
Mhm.
but spending spontaneously on stuff we don't really need, like the
Yeah.
FOMO spending, or just the splurging suddenly, and it's really difficult to sometimes rein it in, and you don't mean to, but it's like the things will come up and you're, oh, I need that, and you buy it, and then it's like, well, why did I buy it when actually I've got that bill that I need to pay, that's sort of like you say, going down your email list, but then you feel like you can't physically open an email because even though you need to pay it, it's that overwhelm of
Yeah.
having to open it, and it's like, it's crazy, isn't it? And it's like, why?
No.
I have a rule for myself now that whenever something comes in that's a bill or an invoice, even if it's like a direct debit or subscription, I have to open it straight away. And now I send it to my own accounting system instantly because I
Mhm.
forget about it. I avoid it. Even when it's something that's come up by direct debit, it could be like for £1.62, something ridiculous. I just ignore it. And then
Yeah.
it's like, why have I done that? So now I have a rule where I have to do it straight away, and then it's done
Mhm.
and it's paid, or I forget.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm quite lucky in that aspect. I cannot stand having any like numbers or blinky messages in my accounting system. So I I put everything in, every expense goes straight in, everything gets matched straight away. I cannot have these unread messages, and that drives me insane.
My
I'm quite
clients are
happy I
tidy
am
like
that
that.
way.
All my
I know.
clients are tidy like that, but not mine. I shouldn't admit that really, but it's like a cleaner. A cleaner
I
never
know.
cleans their own home. Come on.
No.
It's usually the way. Whenever you say to a cleaner, "Oh, I reckon your house is spotless," they're like, "No, no, it's really
Yeah.
not. You're busy doing everyone else's."
Yeah.
And it is that side of it that can be really difficult. So, what got you into what you're doing now?
Oh, well. So I've been in corporate all my career, really, and I've been hating it for the last probably 10 years of
You
my
didn't look
career.
too happy saying it.
No, I mean, it was something, you kind of, you start working, and then you kind of go to the next job and the next job and the next job, and, got to pay the bills, got to pay that mortgage, go for the job that pays the most money. And I was always too scared, I think, to be self-employed. I was like, oh yeah, that's too much risk. I mean, I'm German. I like structure. I was like, no, I don't think so. And then this fun thing called COVID hit.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. And we were working from home for, 2 years essentially. Which was great. So, the first 6 months of COVID, I thought it was great. I could work from home. I was in my garden. I was rebuilding my garden. I was doing all the things. And then this came towards the end of 2020, and my world kind of fell apart then. My mom died in December 2020, and which was unexpected completely. And then 2021, I thought, yes, 21 is going to get better, even though I was still grieving and it was a shit show. Then in January, my cat died. In May, my other cat died. In June, one of my friends died. And I was like, yeah, okay, universe, what's going on?
That's
It
a
was
lot to
like,
deal with in a short amount of time. I'm sorry.
it was horrendous. I was in such a dark place and went into therapy because I was like, no, something's got to give. So therapy saved my life, quite literally. I came out of that about 6 months later, probably. So about January 2022, I said, right, I'm back. What do I do next? I don't want to go back into the office, because 2022 was the time when all the corporates were saying, yeah, let's come back into the office. No, 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 no.
You're done with that.
Let's
Yeah.
not do that. So I decided, right, I need to do something else. My whole world has been ripped apart. It's time to do something. So I did. So I started researching and what I could do, because I've been an admin all my life, you know, from even from when I was before I was working. I always remember my mom had this really old typewriter, you know, those heavy ones where you
Yeah.
literally had to use two fingers. And I was always on that, always typing things, you know, very important, of course. My dad was just like, yeah, okay, whatever. But I was like, admin. And then I was on TikTok, as we all probably were in 2022. And somebody came up, it was a VA coach. And I was like, oh, okay, VAs. I never thought of that. You know, let me research that, as you do. You know, you go down a few rabbit holes along the way. And I was like, I can do that. So I set up my business while I was still fully employed, but because we were working from home and my job was actually not, you know, that challenging, to be fairly honest. Was challenging on a lot of levels, but I could get it done while I was home really quickly. So I can still work. Plus VA work you can do anytime during the day. So even if I was working 8 hours, I could still work 2 or 3 or 4 hours as a VA. So yeah, I did all that, and then about 8 months later, quit my job, and since then have been fully VAing, and yeah, also started working with my neurodivergent crowd fairly early on, even though some of my clients I officially not, but I'm like, yeah, you definitely have ADHD, but you just don't know it.
It can take a while, I think, sometimes to realize, like myself, you know, it wasn't until I was almost 30, and now it's like a 10-year wait list to even properly get diagnosed.
Mhm.
And it's just crazy, isn't it? But it's
Insane.
surprising the amount of people I speak to, and it is something quite drastic that happens in their life that
Mhm.
forces them almost forces them into this entrepreneurship. And a lot of it has been around COVID. Like even myself with my businesses, it was COVID, being made
Yeah.
redundant and refusing to have to ask anyone permission to be there for my kids again. That was always it. It was
Mhm.
like, I'm never doing
Yeah.
that again. Um, but it sounds like that kind of for you kind of gave you almost like a new lease of life after
Yeah.
everything. And I think actually like saying about the topic of therapy as well, this is something that I'm talking to a lot of people about because I think it's so important that this is hit on.
Mhm.
A lot of people think going into therapy is something that you should be ashamed about. But actually, I think it's a really important thing that a lot we all should go and speak to. And who was it? It was speaking to Simon Squibb, and I know he's very open about it.
Yeah.
He speaks to a therapist, I think, every single month, or is it a therapist or a counselor, sort of similar around those.
Mhm.
And quite a lot of famous people do. And it's being able to go and talk and actually get things open. And even myself, I'm like, right, actually, maybe this is something that I need because it's just going and having that space where you can help to get over the grief, the trauma, the things you've been through.
Mhm.
So thank you, one, for being open about that and for bringing it up. Because anyone listening, you know, if you are in a really bad place or you're struggling, go and seek help because there's no
Yes.
shame in it. And I know back in 2019, so it's going back a few years now, although it only feels like yesterday, 5 years, it's scary. I went through my own mental health breakdown. Um,
Mhm.
but I didn't even realize it, and no one around me picked up on it. And it wasn't until COVID hit that I stepped back, I stopped, and like you, COVID for me actually was a huge game changer.
Yeah.
And it changed my life. And I hate to say this because I know so many people struggle, but for the better, because I
Mhm.
actually had my son home, my husband, I did have my son home. I had my husband home full time, which I'd never had with the kids. It was always me running around doing everything. Like my husband's
Mhm.
great, but it was always me. Suddenly he was home full time. I was having a bath at midday with a glass of wine. It was great. I mean, I don't even
Love it.
drink now, but you know, our gardens were lovely. We had a vegetable patch. It was hot. And it was that time when he was home, it gave me that space to go, actually, something's not right. I started the running, the exercise, and then I started myself going down the sort of I call it the neurodivergent rabbit hole because you start really reading into it and going, oh, okay. And then when I
Mhm.
put my eldest son forward for diagnosis, because we waited, in total, we will be waiting about 2.5 years for everything, because we've now got the diagnosis of autism, but we still haven't got the official paperwork, which we probably
Mhm.
won't, even though he was diagnosed back in May, June this year, we probably won't get the paperwork until December because there's still a wait list for all of the official stuff. So we've got the diagnosis, the letter. and we've had the conversation, but all of the reports are taking months to come. So in total, you're probably looking at 2.5, 3 years for the whole process. And it was putting in his paperwork that I went, oh, okay, this kind of makes a lot of sense. I tick all the boxes.
Mm-hmm.
So the fact that
I
you've
know.
gone through this and now you've come to where you are, it is almost like it's going into that next part of the life, isn't it? Like a new
Yeah.
bit, and
Yeah.
building yourself up around the community who get and support you as well. I think it's great.
Exactly. And it's been a journey as well for me, because I'm not diagnosed yet, and I'm still waiting on all of that, that journey. But and as I was working with more and more of my clients, and the longer I've been working with them, I'm like, I do that, I do that, I do that. Yeah. Oh, there's actually a name for that. There's so many things, and it was like it really opened my eyes so much, and I was like, oh my God, could it be? And as you yourself, you go down several rabbit holes, and do some online tests, and it was like, oh yeah, definitely. It's like, okay, okay, maybe I
I did
should
that
go.
recently and I scored like 12 out of 14.
I know,
I
it's
was like,
like,
oh, okay, there we go. Yeah, I just take this to the doctors with me. That'll help.
yeah, yeah. And then I was like, ugh, I don't really need a diagnosis. I was like, I'm 48 years old. I mean, I made it this far.
I
But
think
now
that's the thing, isn't it? And that's something that I know is a bit of a hot topic at the moment, isn't it?
mm,
Online, especially as a diagnosis side. And you don't need a diagnosis. You really
mm,
don't. But if you want one, then there's nothing wrong with that. Like for me, my diagnosis is more for my kids, not really for myself.
yeah,
For them to know that, yeah, it's, mummy has it too. That's just how it is. Um, and it is in the family as well. So
mm,
it's more that side of it. No, you don't need that diagnosis. And now it is, the wait list is so long, just
yeah.
so long. It's crazy. Like I will probably be 40 before I'm diagnosed. It's mad.
Yeah.
It's
I mean,
bonkers.
I'm quite lucky. I do have private health insurance, so I can go private with this.
Yeah.
And I probably am, because yeah, if I wait, I'll be retired before I get it. you know. But yeah. But again, I made it this far. It's not a necessity. It's a nice to have, I'd say, because it just kind of reaffirms your lifelong struggles of, why am I so weird? I mean, I embrace the weirdness, to be fair. I mean, look at my
Nothing. You have
room.
to, at the end of the day, you are who you are. It's crazy, really. Because I went to, as we were talking before we started recording, I went to an event last week, and I don't drink, especially when I go to events. I don't drink, especially business events, because I don't need to. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's like you get high off the atmosphere.
Yes.
You don't need to add alcohol to the mix. It'd
Oh,
just be
no.
absolutely crazy. So we were doing line dancing until late.
Love it.
It's just, you don't need to. And I'm just like, no, just let yourself go, just embrace it, have fun. It's absolutely fine. And yeah, everyone gets it. And there's just no
Mhm.
judgment, which I absolutely love. Being in the neurodivergent community is like, we all just get on and everyone
Mhm.
just embraces how you are. It's so
Yeah.
wonderful, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
It's
would love to
great.
bring this back around to money topic, if that's okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you feel within your life, with having ADHD or neurodivergence, then that it has affected the way that you've handled your money? Like I know with my clients and those that I've spoken about, I speak to, sorry, a lot of it is the avoidance, the stress, the
Mhm.
overwhelm. Some of that I do honestly believe that it comes from the fact that we're not taught financial literacy, but also it's that dopamine spending cycle, the FOMO spending, as I touched on earlier. Have you ever suffered from any of this?
Oh, yes. 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 And all of the above. Yes. I mean, now that I'm self-employed and I have a successful business and I have the money that comes with this business, I still have those issues, but not in the extent that I had before. I'm not going into debt for anything or anything like that. I've grown out of that. But I used to have a lot of debt when I was younger. It was just spend, 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 money in, money out. It was like I get paid on the first and all the money was gone on the 15th, So, okay, what am I going to do for the next 15 days until I get paid again, and well, let's take out a loan and let's take out a credit card. And this has been like this pretty much all my life. And funnily enough, only after I went self-employed, I started saving, because I think because of the risk, It's like when I'm now ill, I'm ill. There's nobody paying me because I'm ill. It's just I'm out of the business, so I need to have a backup. Or if, God forbid, I lose half of my clients, I need to have a backup. So I started saving like from the get-go when I became self-employed. 10-20% of my income always went into my savings pot. And now I'm, besides my mortgage, I'm pretty much debt free. I have no credit cards. I don't get any more credit cards. If I can't pay for it, I don't buy it, and it's a great position to be in now. I mean, I bought my first car outright last week.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you.
Amazing.
Brand new. I saved for it for the last 2.5 years, right? So and it was a great feeling. I mean, it wasn't a great feeling to hand over a ton of money at Arnold Clark. I was like, you have it. But
it's yours.
It's my money and I can do whatever I want with it. And it was a great position to be in. And will I ever go back to, hell no. I'm going to save again. And then in 2.5 years' time, I don't know, pay a big chunk of my mortgage. There's all of these things. Obviously, I grew up as well. That helped. I'm at an age where I have to think about retirement rather than, okay, where am I going to go party this week? But yeah, it is a struggle. And I need to constantly remind myself of that. It's like, as you can see, I do have a lot of plans. That's kind of my downfall when I go shopping.
I'm banned from, my husband has banned me from buying blankets and plants. I'm a sucker for blankets. We have so many blankets. I can't believe I'm about to admit this. I have so many blankets. I have to keep some in my car because we don't have enough space in the cupboard for the blankets. But they're my breakdown blankets, so it's okay because you need blankets in case you ever break down. But I'm not allowed to buy more. And I've got so many plants myself. Like I don't have any more windowsill space. And then they obviously produce babies as well. So then you have babies. And now I have to give them away because I've got too many plants. So I get that. And actually, I think what you're saying is so important because as an entrepreneur and a business owner, we go into business doing what we love at the end of the day. No one goes, we do. It's yes, sometimes it is out of having to, like because you've lost your job or because you're fed up with what you're doing. But you don't go into it thinking, oh, I need to be saving money. Not many people go in thinking, oh, I'm going to, make tons and tons of money. You just want to be able to be comfortable and happy. Yes, the money does come later. Yes, you do want the money because that's why you're doing a business. But we're not taught those skills around what you've just said. We are thrown so much at us all the time, especially when you log in online. Buy this, buy that, have this course, go to this event, buy this shiny thing. Oh, look, there's a pair of trousers there. That's really great with your professional top. And it is so hard stepping back and going, actually, no, can I afford that? And that's something that I teach, and it's moving away from the credit. Because now it is too much of a norm to just take out a loan or take out a credit card to pay for something instead of going, can I afford it?
Yeah.
Can I actually afford that right now if I bought it outright? If you can't afford it, don't buy it. Take the time, like you've done, to save up because it feels so much better rather than having to pay interest on top of debt and then paying back more. Yeah. And it's this endless cycle then, isn't it? Because then if you don't get paid one month, or like you say, if you lose clients, what are you going to do?
Exactly. And it's also, you touched on it there, the shiny objects, especially if you have ADHD, the shiny objects are very shiny. So much so. I mean, the funny thing is, right, I used to buy just stuff, it's like, plants and whatever, if I liked it, now I can. If I like it and I really want it, I buy it, But now, for me, the shiny objects turned more into business shiny objects. It's like, oh, let me buy this course and that course. But now, in last year, because I got so overwhelmed at some point, it's like, oh yeah, I bought this course and I did this whole 12-week course to become a more a funnel builder and things like that. I can build a funnel, yeah, that's great, but have I done anything professionally with it? No. But that was a whole lot of money that I spent on this course. I have all the tools, I can still do it and I can go back to it. and just do it again and just, refresh my memory. But yeah, it was just really a waste of money, to be honest, but there are so many things. And now I'm looking at it with through a lens of, will it actually push my business forward?
Yep.
Is it something I need right now? Because I mean, the marketers out there are brilliant, I have to say, especially for people like us that have FOMO, and it's like, oh yeah, oh, should I buy this now? Should I buy this now? Should I buy this now? No, you don't need this now. Focus on what you're doing next in your business. Focus on building your agency. Focus on building your community. This is my main focus. Do I need that course that helps me become a better salesperson? Maybe, but I'm actually doing all right. I run a pretty successful business, Do I need to pay as a better salesperson just now? Probably not. I'm doing okay. Would it be nice to have when I can afford it? Absolutely. But it's quite a discovery talking about this out loud. It's like, yeah, I'm actually getting quite good at this.
And it's a good thing to do, because you do take that moment to step back and go, actually, is it something I need, or is it just something that I've decided I wanted right now? And I fully admit I've done it myself. And, I teach people how to look after their money. But I have, over the last few years, I've spent quite a lot on different things and courses. I don't regret any of it, to be honest, because it has, for myself, business-wise and personally, developed me hugely as a person and within the business. But again, like you, it's now at that point where it's like, actually, I don't need any more. I've got all the tools, all the skills, all the strategies I need to move my business forward. And it's taking that step back and going, no, I need to focus on what I need now to move forward. And actually, usually it's just being consistent. It's showing up, it's talking about your offer, it's making those connections and putting a good service out that's going to help people. It's not that next shiny thing, because no one can fix what's broken like that. It's not going to be a quick fix. It takes time. Business is not an overnight success. It takes time, constantly, and perseverance, and pushing through the things that don't work. Like, I had this conversation with someone last week, and we were talking about this, and we were saying about when you do a launch and it doesn't work. And I said, but the trouble is, you only hear about the successful launches. No one talks about the ones that have failed or haven't worked, because it's a learning curve for all. And I'm quite open. I've done 3 or 4 launches that no one's brought anything from.
Yeah.
Stop me, Lo. I've just gone, okay, my offer's not right for people. I haven't got the right audience. I'm not out there. I'm not known enough for it to happen, for it to work. I could go and buy another course about launching, but that's not going to solve the problem, that you need an audience and you need to actually put the right offer out there. It's taking the time to do it. And when you take that step back from buying things and you actually start thinking about it, it's like, right, then you start using your money wisely. And again, making sure you have the money to pay for things in full. Okay, some, payment plans can be great for courses, but making sure that actually you can afford that payment plan if you can pay for it in full, rather than thinking, oh, I'll just think about it later.
Exactly. And it is quite freeing when that mindset shifts.
Yeah.
Because it frees up your brain, and I know there's a lot of people out there that are not there yet, and they need support, from people like you and from people like me, to just help them get there, and a few of my clients, I kind of help them with, I don't say I help them with their finances, but we have a weekly meeting and we talk things through. And part of that is, okay, what's happening on the finance front? Have you sent me all your receipts? I upload all the receipts onto Xero or Free Agent or whatever they're using. And, and it does help them as well to talk about it and know that there is a little bit of accountability there as well.
Yeah.
It's so important. It's so important because so many, especially neurodivergent business owners and just neurodivergent people, are in so much debt because of, the challenges that comes with it, that impulse buying that happens. It's such a huge issue. And, the more we can raise awareness about it, the better.
Oh, exactly. And it is an issue, impulse buying. I've got a rule now where I chat things through, like especially with my husband. And I've got some, like, what I call business besties that I chat things through. So that I was meant to next week be going on a plane to an event up in Scotland. And I've cancelled it. And the only reason I was going was because I bought a course that I genuinely wanted. It was about working with corporates. And
Hmm.
my whole background is finance in the banking world and an accountancy. And I was like, actually, kind of a new area. So yes, I did need to expand my knowledge on that, and it was great. But I got this thing because I paid in full because I had the money to pay for it. And so it was like a bonus.
Hmm.
And I was like, okay, but for me to go, so I'm in a mastermind because I do believe you need a business mentor who's above you to help you through things. And that is great having that. So I've got a business
Yeah.
mentor, and we've got a 3 day like mastermind sort of business mentoring day before. Um, so for 3 solid days, you're talking 9 in the morning to 6 at night, we will be working on pure business stuff together in a room, 10 to 15 of us, and then and all the rest of it. It's going to be hard going. And then on a
Hmm.
Sunday, it finishes at 6. I'd have to drive 3 hours to Bristol, stay overnight, and get to the airport for like 4 a.m. to catch a 7 a.m. flight up to Scotland, and then get a 9 p.m. flight back home to Bristol. And so I wouldn't be arriving back until nearly 11 o'clock at night, and then driving home the next day to get my kids from school. And I sat there and was like, And it's not even a monetary cost, it's the energy cost. And that's another thing
Yeah.
as well, is I do talk about obviously money, but for me, with my business, it's all about being wealthy. And that comes about looking after yourself too. That's your mental
Mm.
and your physical health. And part of that is your energy. And that's one
Yes.
thing this year I'm trying to get careful on, is my energy, because I haven't been looking after it. I
Hmm.
was like, actually, that is a lot of energy cost to myself and monetary cost. So it would cost me nearly £450 just to go to this
Wow.
day, which actually I don't really need to go to. Um, just to go there. And it's like, actually, no, I don't need to do that. And I have cancelled it, and I've gone, actually, I'm really sorry, I'm not going to be there. I mean, yes, it would be nice to go and see people, but if I want to do something like that, there's going to be things closer to home. I could do a
Hmm.
session on Zoom. You don't need to go all the way up there. And I know the person this is with is blinking great at what they do, absolutely great. And part of me is still like, oh, is it a missed opportunity? But actually, it's like, when you think, it's like, no, I'm going to wipe myself out for the next week, and it affects your business. So it's
Hmm.
really going, actually, is this going to align with what you're doing in your next steps? And do you need to just take that step back, and really properly look at what you're doing? And yeah, talking
Uh,
it through. So for me, talking it through with my husband, talking it through with my friends really helped me come to that decision. And then I went, actually, I'm being silly to myself because I'm
hmm.
going to make myself ill.
Yes,
And it's
exactly.
that, yeah. So talking it through is really important. And it's
Hmm.
safe to do that. When you find the right people, it is so safe to do that as well.
Hmm. You should have said we could have met for a coffee if you were up in Scotland.
Although I'm not up there now, I'm not going.
I know, but you
We
could
did
have.
it.
We could have
Oh, you know
met.
what? If we didn't have the event, the 3 day event before, I would go because I would
Yeah.
train it up. But it's just too much
Hmm.
energy to be
Oh, that's a
going on the
lot.
Sunday, and then I would not be sleeping, and then having to get back.
Yeah.
It's just not going to happen. And also, not just that, when you're driving it as well, it's unsafe for other people on the road. It's not fair. So you
Hmm.
think that. But we were up in Scotland, so we went at the end of summer holidays. We took our children to Largs. I
Oh,
don't know if you're in
nice. I
Scotland.
love larks.
Well, there's
Yeah.
the Viking Festival, and my son
Yeah.
obsessed with Vikings, so we went to Largs. So we were there actually not long ago, and it was really nice actually. We had all the
Hmm.
weather in one day, and I left my coat in the car,
Yeah.
got absolutely soaked, like literally drenched. But it was just so nice. It was wonderful, and it's called a full Scottish breakfast with haggis and black pudding. It was amazing.
Nice.
I think I
Yeah.
have put weight on.
You possibly have. The real question is, if you were in Largs, did you have Nandini's ice cream?
We had too much Nardini's ice cream, which is also how I know I've put weight on, because you can't go small at Nardini's.
No, no,
We
it's
our
so
apart
good.
we had an apartment, and I find an apartment with my children much easier, because with Jace with the autism and my youngest too, he's ADHD but undiagnosed. He's on the wait list. He's very energetic, and he doesn't sit still.
Hmm.
You find if we go and eat out, but sometimes it can be hard because he doesn't always want to sit there, and when he's done, he's
Hmm.
done. So we had an apartment because then we could cook at the apartment as well. But we did go for the Nardinis and that, and it was literally not even a 2 minute walk from the apartment, so it was very dangerous.
Nice, nice. Yeah, it is. It's really good.
Yeah.
Really good ice cream. Yeah, yum. I
Oh,
haven't been there in ages. I need to go back to Largs,
oh
to be
no,
honest.
I'm sorry. You can send me a photo now of your ice cream. I mean, it's worth it, to be fair. It's definitely worth it.
Yeah, yeah. It's only about an hour's drive, so it's not too bad.
Never do that. We actually went to Loch Lomond, and that was an hour and a half when we were staying
Yeah.
in Stirling Castle, which was about 2 hours.
Mm,
It's really good. It's a
yeah.
beautiful part of
Yeah.
the
So you probably drove past my house.
Probably, yeah. I have to wave next time. Well, thank you so much for coming on. Where can people find you?
Everywhere.
Okay, where do
Always.
you hang out most?
LinkedIn is probably where I hang out the most, but Facebook is probably very close second because I do run a community for neurodivergent business owners there as well. So yeah, but I split my time between doing my actual job and then LinkedIn and Facebook.
What's your the name of your community?
It's a neurodivergent business owner support hub.
Okay, so and if you give me the link, I'll add it to the show descriptions for anyone
Yes,
listening to join as well.
yes.
Be great.
And it's just my name on LinkedIn. So yeah, if you see lots of colorful posts, that's me. As you can tell from my wall.
I was gonna say, yeah, and you've got your beautiful headband on as well, which is very
I know.
bright and vibrant.
Always colors. I do all the colors.
I do love it. It's great. And your background is just beautiful. Mine's blurry because I've got too much stuff behind me.
Well, I actually spent my weekend because I had the sudden urge to rearrange my office, so I did. So yeah. You know how it goes, impulse,
Yeah.
and then I was cleaning out my drawers right next to my desk, put everything on my desk, and then halfway through it, my dopamine went like, yeah, I'm going on a walk.
And then all the stuff's still left on the desk, and you look
Yeah.
back, why did I start this?
I was like, make it stop, send help. But yeah, I finished it and now it's nice and tidy. So yeah.
Well, thank you so much for coming on. It's been great talking to you, and just, yeah, having a lovely conversation. So thank you very
I
much.
know. Thank you. It was so much fun. I love talking to you.